always remember praying. I always remember praying for a chance. And I prayed all the time was just give me a chance. I just want to do something that I love and that I wake up really happy about. And that chance came November of last year. And when it came, I just knew right away. I knew that this was the moment. My name is Samantha Fan, and I am the owner of A Pretty Box. My passion is to inspire people to do what they love with whom they love, and also see beauty in ordinary things. In event planning and photography, I've always looked at it as a channel because the real passion behind it is to inspire people to do things that they love, but with people they love. So that through event planning is how I sort of am able to see that passion come to life, right? And then with photography, it's really about seeing beauty in ordinary things. So whether it's showing people, teaching people, or helping people slow down to see those things, that's through the photography channel is what I call it. But really, it's a business, and at the end of the day, it's your passion. But then, how do you turn it into an actual business and serve people in a way that they need to be served? Because I could think that you need this service, but without knowing what you really need, that's just my assumption and my desire. And the funny thing was, I had already been doing photography for 9 years, right? But I had already started doing event planning even before I got laid off. And my first gig was actually a month before I got laid off. So I did my first gig October, then I got laid off in November. So I had in some ways already built my brand, established the foundation, announced it to my network of friends. And my first friend who hired me for her baby shower was in October. And I remember doing that, and when I got laid off, I just knew. And I don't know if I would have had the courage necessarily to walk away on my own. There were days, many days, that I really wanted to walk away. But I am a mother of 2 daughters and a wife, and I have a family to take care of and responsibilities, and so that was always a struggle. I remember always coming home from work, and I think I just had my first daughter, and I was still like, she would go to sleep and I'm on the computer editing the photos. And that's when you kind of know, like, even if you are exhausted, you're still doing that thing, and it's that thing that you cannot not do, is what I call passion. And it's that thing that gives you energy and out of nowhere, right? Because you're supposed to be exhausted. You have a baby, you worked all day. What are you doing up at night doing this thing? Well, whatever it is, I think that's why we call it passion, right? The challenge is, people always say balance. Like, how do you balance all that? How do you balance doing something you love and work full time? It wasn't always easy. There were days you come home, you're just so tired, and you're like, how am I gonna do this? But I think it's prioritizing. Always, I feel like even now and then, the key for me, and I'm very clear on my focus on it, is being able to prioritize what is most important in your life. And if you ask me, I would say first is self-love. So I don't care if it's taken as being selfish, but you have to take care of yourself, love yourself, have compassion for yourself. Keep yourself happy and alive for whatever it is that it's that one thing, whether you're baking a cake or taking pictures, whatever it is, just keep it alive and keep yourself alive, right? And then second, as a mother of 2, it's parenthood or motherhood for me. And third, it's marriage, foundation, and then career comes after. And I learned this now, but before that, I thought it was all about career, But as I've gotten older, I realized you have to be able to take care of yourself and what you love and your well-being to be a better person for everybody else, you know. And if you're a parent, what happens is you focus so much on your children and you're exhausted, you feel empty, you at times may feel like you've given up your dream because of being a parent. You have to sacrifice that. I would challenge that. I would say, why? Yeah, we don't have a lot of time, but in the time that you have, if you don't have enough time during your waking hours, wake up 30 minutes earlier, wake up an hour earlier. So when I trained for my first Ironman, right, that's a hobby, but there's no way I could have done it with being a mom within the hours of my waking hours, right? So I woke up at 4 in the morning, went to the gym, and was done by like 6:30. And when it required more time, then I had my husband to help support. But, you know, it's prioritizing at the end of the day. So I don't strive for balance because that would drive me crazy, because I don't believe it exists. I believe in feeling content, and I believe in feeling happiness. So my floors are messy. The kitchen at times, laundry is the worst, okay? So there's clothes that may be washed, but it won't get folded for like weeks, right? But that's okay because I can let go of those things. If I could, I would take care of everything. Everything would be perfectly stacked up, but I can't. And I refuse to, because you would just drive yourself crazy. So yeah, like I think if you're the type of mother that wants to do everything and continues to strive for that without allowing yourself time to rest or allocate time for yourself to keep yourself alive, you're just asking to burn out and to be unhappy. If you're creating a business that's unique to yourself and your brand and what you want it to stand for, you wake up every morning with a blank sheet of paper. And there's a lot of anxiety that comes with that. And I think I found myself in those moments a lot, where I just sit there as like I'm just blank. I know what I can do, I know what I can give, but now what? I launched my website, I've done the different events, done the weddings, done the photography. What else is next? And no one's there to answer that question for you, unless you reach out to mentors and like really work with a consultant. But you know, small business startup, you don't have funds for that. Everything is just you figuring things out. So Julia Cameron, who's the author of Artist's Way, was the one book that I have with me like all the time, and it's always on my desk. And the biggest thing that I learned from that book was to write every day. And even if you can't write every day, if you have a question and you sit down, force yourself to write and ask yourself those questions, you have the answers. But I think as human beings, we need validation, and we need people to tell us that what we're thinking is correct. So I found through the morning pages that I have my own answers. And I have I can help myself when I'm lost as the first person to go to. And whatever else is missing, then, you know, whether there's internet or calling up someone who's more experienced, but really it makes you really dig deep in figuring yourself out and learning more about yourself. I have, you know, my tools, which are Google Calendars, and that's the planning side of me, and the apps and all the great stuff to keep me organized and moving forward, and seeing that the action that I'm doing, is it actually procrastinating? Is it busy work, or is it actual work that's helping me move my business forward? If you're a creative person, you have like a million ideas. And I think we talked about this before, where you have like, I want to be this, I want to do that, I want to do, so and I'll give you an example, right? Event planning. I want to plan, I want to create crafts, I want to sew like favors and pouches for favors. Then I want to do photography, and I want to do wedding, I want to do family, and I want to travel and take pictures. Well, if I don't pick one thing, I think as a business owner, I will completely fail. I think it's okay to dream and brainstorm and keep those ideas in a box or on a piece of paper, but pick one of those things and start to focus on them and test it. And if it doesn't work, fix it up, change it, and then maybe pull another idea out. But if you're trying to work on all the ideas that are up here, you end up being busy but not completing any one thing to the best that you can. So busy work is easy to do because it keeps you feeling like you're busy, but really in actuality you're avoiding the unknown. Of course there's anxiety. So you're dealing with anxiety and happiness, and then that's kind of conflicting, but it's being able to, I think, I wouldn't say suppress it, but just calm it down. And then keep yourself focused on what it is you need to do. You're starting up a business, you need money to invest in your equipment, or you need money to do marketing. So my learnings, not just from my own business, but also from corporate, is you need to start small. Start extremely small. Use the resources that you have. So as of November of last year to this year, yeah, I've purchased a few items to stock up kind of a pretty box, event planning. But I didn't run out there and spend a whole bunch of money because I felt like I needed to do that. When I first started photography 10 years ago, I felt like I needed all that. I needed an LLC company. I needed a $300 to $500 website template. I needed all these things. But what I learned from launching my business now is just work with what you have. When you create that revenue, use that revenue and apply it into the business in small ways. All the material, luxury items, none of that matters at the end. So I feel like through my event planning, I may not outwardly express that in all of my communication, but as I encourage people to celebrate little things or celebrate big things, and I actually witness them celebrate it, whether it be through a big wedding, and the bride comes up to me afterwards and says, "My dreams came true, and you were here to help bring that. That's it, That completes me, no matter if it was like a 13-hour shift that day, But it was worth it because I knew I would have done it for free if I could. So maybe that's another, key advice is, what is that one thing that you would do in a heartbeat for free without getting paid, without worrying about a business plan? And if you do that, and you keep your eye on what it is that you want to bring to reality as far as your dream, it slowly things will connect and it will work itself out. And it's having patience and really having strength.